We intend to work in a seamless manner to ensure that processing of government bills is expeditious, and we do not spend a lot of time between the two houses, not too much of bills being sent back and forth from one house to the other, and a lot of mediation. We do hope that we'll be able to resolve issues beforehand. There's a contentious issue on the interpretation of Article 110 of the Constitution, and many are aware, the Attorney General is aware that the Court of Appeal has since given directions as to how we should interpret the provisions of Article 10 on concurrence of what bills relate to counties and whether they should go to the Senate. We had a total of 23 acts of parliament, Your Excellency, that were taken to court by our colleagues in the Senate. And as you have indicated, the Honorable Aaron is my good friend, and I do not expect that you'll be taking us to court in the near future. I hear him whispering that if we behave well. And the behaving well, Your Excellency, as you have indicated, is all of us to carry out our mandate in line with the Constitution. If we are faithful and adhere to what the Constitution provides in both Articles 95 and 96, we do not need to haggle over what we need to concur on. You have severally told us that the buck stops on your desk. If you find the Senate going to court, if you find governors going to court, Your Excellency, if you find the National Assembly going to court, then there's a problem. And that problem, Your Excellency, can only be resolved on your desk. And I'll be inviting you to have a sitting, as you have committed with governors, to also have a sitting with both speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate and the leadership of both houses, so that we are also aligned as to the provisions or the interpretation of Article 110 of the Constitution, so that we have no back and forth in terms of being able to process bills. So that, for instance, the finance bill, Your Excellency, if we were to start haggling on how we process the finance bill, the problems that bedevil the counties will continue, because we will not be able to collect the revenues that the Honorable Chair of the Council of Governors is expecting revenues to go to the county governments. And therefore, it is in all our interest that we are able to process bills expeditiously, especially bills that belong to counties. We want to assure you, in the executive and even in those of us who sit in the Council of Governors, that we shall endeavor to do our best to serve that one person, Wanjiku. The key highlights is that, one, the Honorable Speaker will designate a place in the chamber or at the bar of the House for a Cabinet Secretary to reply to questions and provide reports concerning matters under his or her control in government. On matters that relate to national government revenues and expenditure and an oversight of national government state organs, then we do expect that the Cabinet Secretaries will be expected to appear before the National Assembly. And on matters that relate to counties, in line with the Constitution and in line with what I started with, in line with the provisions of Article 93(2), that Cabinet Secretaries will appear before the National Assembly on matters relating to national government issues and state organs, and on matters relating to county governments, they will appear before the Senate. We also review the conduct in office of the President, the Deputy President, and other state officers, and initiate the process of removing them from office. And those state officers are all seated here, Your Excellency. And as I mentioned to you this morning, you did appoint, you nominated, we approved the appointment of both Cabinet Secretaries and Principal Secretaries, and you have the powers to hire and fire. But only one other institution has the power to fire, but has no powers to hire. That is the National Assembly. And therefore, we can initiate that process to remove from office those who do not serve the interest, as you said yesterday, Your Excellency, and I want to assure you that we will support you in ensuring that all members of government in the executive serve the interests of the public, not their own selfish and personal interests. And any that we will do, anything that will indicate that they are serving other interests other than the interests of the people of Kenya, we shall not hesitate, Your Excellency, as you said in your interview this week, that you have directed investigative agencies not to refer to you should they find any member of your government on the wrong side of the law. We do not expect, myself and my brother Aaron, that you shall also be calling any of us should there be need to act. There is no provision in the Constitution that bars a cabinet secretary from attending the House to answer to questions. Since these questions are intended to assist the House to resolve issues that are of concern to the people, and our key mandate is to address matters that are of concern to the people. Indeed, under Article 165(2)(d) of the Constitution, only the High Court can interpret the Constitution and declare any action unconstitutional. Therefore, you must not be worried by those who are declaring that what you intended was unconstitutional. It's only the High Court that can interpret the Constitution and tell us that the appearance or otherwise of a cabinet secretary before the House is unconstitutional. And in line with that, there is no single judicial determination that has been made on whether attendance by cabinet secretaries before the House violates any written law. There's a question that could be asked, for instance, that question on GMO that would touch on health, that would touch on trade, that would touch on agriculture, and we expect that such cross-cutting questions will be answered by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and it is expected that, of course, you'll be accompanied by the Cabinet Secretaries in charge of the dockets that the questions relate to, or officers in their respective dockets. And therefore, the Prime Cabinet Secretary may consolidate replies from various ministries on a cross-cutting question and appear before the House as a Cabinet Secretary also to answer to questions that are cross-cutting.